said the scarecrow watched the hill, not like a decoration or a forgotten farmer's tool, but with purpose, with patience. Locals in Lower Quinton never spoke its name, only called it him or it. A shape nailed to the blackened hawthorn atop Meon Hill, arms outstretched like a warning. Some claimed it had been there forever, a relic from a time when things were buried in soil to keep them quiet. They said the scarecrow didn't rot, didn't fall, didn't sway with the wind. It waited. For what, no one knew. Old stories whispered of strange markings, dead animals, and people vanishing in the fog. A few who dared to visit the hill said its eyes weren't buttons, but something worse. Something real. And always they repeated the same rule. Don't look it in the eye. Don't pull the nails, and don't go near the tree, because sometimes it isn't watching. Sometimes it's waking up. When Gareth first heard the tale in the pub, he laughed. A scarecrow that kills people. He sipped his pint with a smirk. That's not folklore, that's fertilizer. Old Michael, silent until then, lifted his whiskey and said flatly, he was nailed to the tree in 1945, but he's much older than that. Someone added, Charles Walton, found with a pitchfork through the face, symbols carved into his chest. They called it a farming accident. Or a witch murder, another said. They always say something different just to keep the story buried. Gareth raised his glass. Well, I'll pay him a visit tomorrow. If I don't come back, send the pitchfork to my mum. Nobody laughed with him. The next morning was gray and silent. Gareth hiked through wet grass and thin fog toward Meon Hill. It loomed above like a forgotten monument. Wind stirred the hedges in little bursts, but the rest of the land was still, too still. He passed the old iron gate and climbed the narrow path. At the top stood the tree. Blackened and twisted, it looked more fossil than plant, its bark scarred by rot and time. Beneath its skeletal branches slumped a figure, the scarecrow. It looked ancient. Burlap skin faded to gray. A broad-brimmed hat sat low over its face, casting shadows across black button eyes. Its limbs were long and thin, nailed to the trunk by rusted iron spikes. Straw protruded from sleeves and pant cuffs, dry and brittle as old paper. Gareth stared, then laughed. Amazing, you're pathetic. He raised his camera. Click. A crow screamed, then flew off from a nearby branch. The scarecrow's head tilted ever so slightly toward him. He blinked. Okay, nice touch. He took another photo. Click. The lens cracked. Gareth frowned. Shit. The scarecrow's arms dropped. Not by wind, not by gravity. They lowered, deliberately. From behind its legs, a rusted pitchfork emerged, resting against its frame. Gareth hadn't noticed it before. What the hell? The scarecrow moved, a slow, jerking step. Its straw-stuffed legs creaked like splintered wood. The pitchfork dragged behind it with a low screech, gouging the dirt. Gareth took a step back. Okay, prank's over, I don't scare easy. The scarecrow advanced. He turned and ran, but didn't make it 3 steps. Within human speed, it was on him. The pitchfork swung in a wide arc. One tine pierced his thigh, shattering bone. Gareth screamed, collapsing to the ground in a heap. He tried to crawl. The scarecrow followed. Step, drag, step, drag. Each movement exuded decay, rot blooming in its wake, blackening the grass. No, please! Gareth sobbed, crimson soaking the soil. The scarecrow loomed over him. Up close, the burlap was stitched with thin wire smeared with what looked like dried blood. Its button eyes weren't plastic, they were real. Preserved human eyes, shrunken and blackened in their sockets. It bent low. He smelled it. Damp earth, old meat, mold and wet straw. It whispered something in his ear, words he didn't understand. Then it drove the pitchfork into his chest. The impact cracked ribs, splitting them wide. Gareth spasmed, choking on blood. The scarecrow pulled back and struck again, this time through his gut. He felt everything. Even as darkness claimed him, he was conscious of every pull, every slice, every wet tear of meat. When his eyes finally glazed over, the scarecrow stood silently, tilting its head like a curious animal. If you like the story so far, please remember to like and subscribe for more scary stories. They found his body 2 days later, or what was left of it. His arms were outstretched and nailed to the same hawthorn tree. His mouth had been sewn shut with black thread. His stomach had been cut open, and inside were feathers, wheat husks, and what looked like a withered human heart. No one asked who the heart belonged to. The police didn't stay long. No report was published. Some said they called in a priest. Others swore the local vicar refused to go near the site. Only the pub regulars spoke of it again. Old Michael sipped his whiskey and said, "Told him not to go." The barkeep nodded grimly. "That hill's cursed, always has been." "Thing is," Michael added, "he don't stay up there long. Just long enough to feed, then he disappears till the next fool shows up." Someone asked, "Why the nails?" "Tradition. Long as he's nailed to that tree, he sleeps. But something always pulls the nails loose." A shiver passed through the room. Outside, the wind shifted, and far beyond the rolling green atop Meon Hill, the scarecrow was gone from the tree. They say if you see him again, nails missing, hat low, eyes gleaming like coal, you don't run. You lie still. You whisper a prayer to whatever God you believe in. And maybe if your heart is empty and your hands are clean, the scarecrow will walk past. But most hearts are full of rot, and he knows how to dig it out. If you like the story, don't forget to like and subscribe for more scary stories like this.